Steve here, talking some politics today. Town hall meetings. They've become quite the rage across the United States, with people showing up at town hall meetings across the United States with nothing but rage. A senator or a congressman holds a town hall meeting in their district or state to hear the voices and concerns of their constituents. And what they get is people shouting and screaming at them, usually over the health care debates that have been going on. Now, some congressmen and senators have gone out of their way to avoid having town hall meetings, and they've faced some criticism on account of that. One of them was a Congressman Rod Blum from Iowa's 1st District. He had not had a town hall meeting in quite a while. He did do some telecom town hall meetings where it was across the telecom system, but he wasn't there in person. But then he decided last week he was going to do a town hall meeting where he showed up and listened to the voices and concerns of his constituents. But it's only the voices and concerns of his constituents. People who were going to show up for this town hall meeting had to show ID to prove that they were from Iowa's 1st District and Iowa's 1st District alone. So we talked to a reporter about this. Surrounded by children of all things. I watched this video and I don't understand why he's got all these kids around him. Anyway, the reporter asked him, hey, you haven't had a national town hall meeting in a while. Congressman Blum's like, I'm not expecting anything out of the ordinary. It's just going to be another town hall. The reporter brought up the IDs. He says, you're having people show their IDs. This is kind of unusual. I mean, you as a congressman, you have an impact across all of Iowa. What you decide, what you vote for, affects all of Iowans. So in some ways, aren't you a representative of all of Iowa? Which Congressman Blum did not like one bit. He said, no, I represent the 1st District of Iowa. What you're saying would be like if I lived in Dubuque and I decided, hey, I want to go and vote in Iowa City's elections. Then the reporter asked him, well, but would you, who live in Dubuque, take money from a guy in Iowa City, a Republican? Rod Blum really didn't like this question and stormed out of the interview, what can only be described as a hissy fit. And he did this, once again, in front of a lot of little children. So way to represent there, Congressman. He didn't like the question. He's asking me about money. But anyway, this video isn't really about Congressman Rod Blum and his little hissy fit. Now, this is what came up in that interview with can people from a different district go to a town hall meeting in another district? Can you vote in other people's elections? And do you take money from people outside your district? All of this falls under an umbrella of outside influence. So I thought I'd take a look at it and give my opinions on outside influence. So the first one we're going to deal with is the town hall meetings. People from outside the 1st District coming in to Rod Blum's town hall meetings. And on this, I gotta say, I think the reporter was being very kind to the congressman, saying, hey, what you do affects all of Iowa. Why can't you have other Iowans show up at your thing? And this would apply to any state, right? Like maybe he's like the congressman for the 1st District of Missouri, having people from the 2nd District of Missouri come to their town hall meetings. Well, like I said, I thought the reporter was being kind because what Rod Blum does in Congress doesn't just impact people in Iowa, it impacts the whole country. And dare I say, it even impacts across the world, seeing how our government wants to stick its nose into other people's business across the globe. But we'll just focus on people in the United States. So, like I said, he's a congressman. And how he votes and what he does affects all of the United States. Give me an example. Kazoos. Kazoos, those little annoying little flutes that people have. They take these to political rallies and they interrupt congressmen with them. Right? Really annoys the hell out of them. So a congressman decides, you know what? I'm going to come up with a law. I'm going to push it through Congress to outlaw kazoos, right? Well, how does that affect, say, someone in Kalamazoo who works at a kazoo factory? They make kazoos in Kalamazoo. And if this congressman in Iowa decides that they need to outlaw kazoos, that's going to fuck over the people in Kalamazoo, right? So this delegation from Kalamazoo decides they want to show up at this congressman in Iowa's town hall meetings and let all the people in his district know that he's going to fuck over the people of Kalamazoo if he outlaws their kazoos. Why shouldn't that be allowed? Like I said, his votes, the way he does things, affect all of Americans. So why can't other Americans show up at his town hall meetings to let his people know what this guy's going to do affects them all? That's how I feel on that. And quite honestly, I don't know why the congressman is so worried about people outside of his district coming to these town hall meetings. All politics are local. And basically, these people, outsiders, are not going to be voting in his election. Therefore, their only effect is letting people know what his effect is on them. And like he brought up the analogy where if you live in Dubuque, you shouldn't be voting in Iowa City. And I'm with the congressman on that. Greyhound voters is what I call them. People who would come into someone else's elections to vote on it. Outsiders. I am not in favor of that at all. One of the reasons is even if you got rid of a jerk like Rod Blum, right? What else is on the ballot? Like 2018, Rod Blum's up for Congress. So all these people like, I don't know, Kalamazoo is going to come in on Greyhound buses, pretend they're living in the 1st District, just so they could vote from that election and then go back to Kalamazoo, right? Well, there's more on that ballot than just the congressman. They might be like let's say they go to Dubuque to vote there, and Dubuque might have their mayor up for election or their sheriff. And these people from Kalamazoo don't know jack shit about Dubuque, right? So they'll look at the candidates for sheriff and mayor, and maybe they'll just go with the first one, alphabetically. And, they'll leave Dubuque with like a mayor who's a high school dropout or a sheriff who's an anarchist and say, we're going back to Kalamazoo, fuck you Dubuque. I'm not in favor of that at all. To me that's voter fraud, plain and simple. Now we come to the matter of taking money outside your district. And on this, I don't know if I disagree with Congressman Rod Blum on whether or not you should take money outside your district, because he never answered the question. What seemed pretty damn shady to me. I think that suggested he is taking money from people from Iowa City. And on this, same with the voter fraud. Why should they be taking money from people in Kalamazoo? Kalamazoo can stay the fuck out of our politics when it comes to who they support. Because like I said, if he's taking money from Kalamazoo, who says he's not listening to the people who are giving the money from Kalamazoo? And does Kalamazoo know what's best for the 1st District of Iowa? No, I do not think they do. So on that, I say no. I think that the only people they should be taking money from are people in their own district. And then I think New Hampshire has a law that says just that. And I think maybe we should get on our state representatives and say, hey, we need a law that says you can't take money from Kalamazoo if you live in Dubuque. You can only take money from people in Dubuque or people in that district if it's a congressman. And same with the Senate, a senator. They can only take money from people in Iowa, no Texas and Michigan or any of that shit. I know some of them saying, well, that would be unfair. I mean, some of our districts are poorer than the other ones. And to that I just say, yeah, you'd have to budget your money. You can only take money from people from Iowa. That means you only have so much money to run your campaign. You learn a thing about budgeting. And maybe our Congress could use that kind of lesson, learning how to save money and not just spend it all over the place. We're like, what, $5 trillion in debt? Yeah, I think they could use a lesson in budgeting. So that's all I got to say on that. One, let the people come to your town hall meetings and let people know what's going on in the rest of the United States and how their congressman is affecting that. Two, stay the fuck out of our elections as far as voting. If you don't live in that district or that state, stay the fuck out of an election. I don't know why you think you'd be doing yourself any good. One, voter fraud. Two, you'd have to leave when maybe elections of your own are going on. And you take a whole Greyhound bus of your voters, and you want to, because you think your congressman is safe, maybe they won't be because you've taken all those votes out of your state or district. And three, like I said with the money, fuck off, keep it in your district. Especially if you're going to be like Congressman Blum, with his little bubble about how he doesn't want people outside of his district at his town hall meetings. He doesn't want them voting in their elections. Well, why the fuck are you taking money outside of your district? That's if he's doing it. We never found out because, like I said, you threw a hissy fit. And that's all I got to say on that.